Welcome to the deep dive. You sent us a really fascinating stack of material this time, all centered on national economic strategy.
Yeah, and our mission today is basically to cut through some of that complexity.
We're exploring how industrial transformation actually works. How can a nation that imports almost everything become more self-sufficient, maybe even a powerhouse?
And we're using Malawi as a specific case study, looking at, um, perhaps surprisingly, cleaning products and plastics.
It sounds a bit mundane, maybe. Detergent.
Well, it does, but we're dissecting a strategy that argues, pretty convincingly, I think, that the path to high-level industry might just begin right there, with soap.
Okay. And the sources we're drawing on are quite varied. We've got hard trade statistics covering a whole decade, 2013 to 2023.
Plus high-level policy docs like the Malawi 2063 vision.
Right, and then these really detailed blueprints for something called a manufacturing school.
Yeah, very specific. And we're also looking at regional trade agreements like AfCFTA, COMESA.
And even comparing it historically to Turkey's strategic planning back in the 1930s.
So quite a mix. But the goal is to pull out the foundational strategy. How do these basic everyday consumer items become the engine, the driver for self-sustaining industrial growth?
It seems to be an approach built on synergy and just plain necessity.
Exactly. Necessity is key here.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's start with the problem this whole strategy is trying to solve, this extreme import dependency. The trade data really paints a picture here.
It really does.
Huh?
If you just look at Malawi's overall economic situation, the vulnerability is, well, it's stark.
How stark are we talking?
Well, take 2023. Factor in all the products they traded. The total trade deficit was huge, around $2.29 billion.
Wow.
And the import-export coverage ratio, that's basically how much your exports pay for your imports, it was only 30.99%.
So they're earning less than a third of what they need to cover their import bill.
Precisely. That's the big picture vulnerability.
Okay, but the plan zooms in, right, onto these specific sectors where the industrial push begins. And the reliance there, it sounds like it's almost total.
Yeah, let's look at plastics first. That's product 39 in the trade codes. In 2023, the import-export coverage ratio for plastics just plummeted. It hit a low of 4.64%.
4.6%. So for every dollar's worth of plastic stuff they used, they imported like 95 cents worth.
Essentially, yes. Almost entirely dependent.
Okay, that's bad. But you mentioned cleaning products. Product 34, that includes soaps, detergents, surface cleaners, daily stuff.
Right, and this is where the dependency becomes absolutely shocking. This is really the number that anchors the whole strategy, you could argue.
Go on.
For cleaning products, in 2023, the coverage ratio was, well, it was a catastrophic 0.03%.
0.03%. Wait, let me just process that.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way. For every $10,000 Malawi spent importing these essential cleaning supplies, they only managed to export about $3 worth of their own products in that category to pay for it.
That's staggering. That level of reliance on outside sources for basic household things like soap and bleach, it's not just an economic problem.
Exactly. You could argue it's a national security issue. I mean, think about it. If there's a global supply chain disruption or some geopolitical event, access gets cut off.
Daily life grinds to a halt.
It really could. And this absolute dependence, this fragility, is exactly the weakness that Malawi's long-term vision, Malawi 2063, is trying to fix.
Right, that vision talks about moving away from being just an agriculture-based importing economy
Towards becoming an industrialized, more self-sufficient one. They call this process İsmailercan. Industrialization, that's the core goal.
But you can't just leap to building, semiconductor plants overnight.
No, absolutely not. The argument here is that the transition has to start with stability, building on something solid.
Okay, so that brings us back to the cleaning products. Why them specifically? Why are they the synergy engine, as the source puts it? Why not start somewhere else? Like maybe processing local agricultural produce for export seems more obvious.
It might seem more obvious, but it comes down to this idea of the industrialization sequence, the İsmailercan or Gusu. Cleaning products are essential consumer staples, like food, like fuel.
Things people need every day no matter what.
Exactly. There's constant, non-negotiable domestic demand. That built-in demand provides a kind of safety net, a stable market to build on, which, high-tech exports or luxury goods just don't offer at the start.
Okay, so the stable demand is the foundation. But I'm still trying to connect the dots. How does making, say, dish soap lead eventually to advanced metalworking or CNC machines? That feels like a huge leap.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. because the strategy isn't just about making soap. It's designed to create a kind of mandatory technological domino effect.
A domino effect.
Yeah. The need for cleaning products immediately pulls four other key sectors up the technological ladder, almost simultaneously.
Four sectors. Okay, walk us through that. What's the industrial ecosystem that a simple bottle of surface cleaner can kickstart?
All right. First, obviously, the chemical industry. To make that surface cleaner locally, you need the ingredients, surfactants, enzymes, maybe fragrances, other specialized inputs.
Right.
Producing those locally forces the nascent chemical sector to actually invest in R&D. It pushes them towards maybe greener, more sustainable formulations that suit local needs, local resources.
Okay, that makes sense. Sector 1, chemicals. What's next?
Sector 2, plastics, because every single cleaning product needs packaging.
Bottles, containers, caps.
Exactly. This is what the source calls the emballage omergasi, the packaging backbone. You need blow molding for the big detergent jugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you also need injection molding for the more complex bits, the precise caps that need to seal properly, flip tops, those intricate spray triggers.
Ah, okay. Like on a window cleaner bottle.
Precisely. And this massive immediate demand for millions of these plastic items forces the local plastic sector to innovate. Not just on the type of plastic or how it looks, but crucially on high-speed, high-quality, reliable production.
Hold on. Are you suggesting the design of a plastic bottle cap is actually dictating industrial development?
In a functional way, yes. That cap, or maybe even more so, that complex spray trigger mechanism, think about how many parts are in one of those. That's the critical link to the next sector.
Why? Because they need to be made precisely.
Incredibly precisely. You're making millions. They have to seal perfectly every time, snap on securely, work reliably without leaking. That requires a very high level of precision manufacturing.
Which you can't achieve with basic tools. Which brings us to...
Sector 3, the machine and mold industry.
Right.
You simply cannot injection mold millions of high-precision plastic parts like triggers using simple, cheap equipment or molds. That level of quality and quantity demands complex, often hardened steel molds.
And making those molds.
Making those complex molds, in turn, requires high-precision, computerized numerical control CNC machinery and skilled people to design the molds and operate those machines.
I see. So the specific immediate need for millions of good quality spray triggers directly pulls the nation's metalworking, engineering, and even automation sectors upmarket. It forces that capability development.
Exactly. It's a powerful chain reaction driven by the demand for something as simple as a cleaning product.
That is a powerful chain. But hang on, let me play devil's advocate here. This sounds great in theory, building local capacity, but what happens when they start making, say, local dish soap? Won't the big multinational companies just flood the market with their established, maybe cheaper imported brands and just crush these new local efforts before they even get off the ground?
That's a really important question,
Yeah.
and it's a constant threat, absolutely, which is why this strategy can't exist in a vacuum. It has to be integrated with, trade policy and a focus on the regional market.
Ah, okay. So maybe some temporary protection, import substitution?
Possibly, for a period. But the sources suggest the real game changer isn't just protectionism. It's aiming for the massive regional market. We'll get to the FCFTA numbers shortly, and focusing strategically on achieving high quality and maybe specialized products that can actually compete, first locally, then regionally. It's not just about making any soap, it's about pushing technical standards through this necessity.
Okay, that makes more sense. It's not just about replacing imports, it's about building competitive capacity. And you said 4 sectors. What's the fourth?
The fourth one completes the loop, recycling and the circular economy.
Ah, of course. If you start making millions more plastic bottles locally...
You immediately create a huge need for robust local recycling systems and waste management infrastructure. You have to deal with that plastic waste. It forces the issue. And ideally, it transforms that waste from just a problem into a potential resource for new products.
Right, so it's an entire industrial ecosystem, really, all kickstarted by that basic demand for detergent and bleach.
That's the idea of the synergy engine.
Okay, that synergy map explains the what and the why. But, an industrial plan is just words on paper without people to actually do it. How does this strategy address the massive, urgent need for skilled workers, for engineers, for technicians?
Right, human capital. That's where this proposed Malawian manufacturing school comes in. The documents describe it as an open technical knowledge transfer training project.
Open knowledge transfer. What does that mean practically?
It seems to have a critical dual goal. First, obviously train the qualified workforce and importantly, the industrial entrepreneurs they need. But second, it's designed to be financially self-sustaining.
How? By charging tuition.
No, actually, by having the training facility operate essentially as a commercial factory.
So they make and sell the stuff they're training people on.
Exactly. They manufacture and sell the very cleaning products and plastic components that are the focus of the industrial plan. That revenue helps fund the training operation.
That's clever. What's the training model like?
It sounds quite progressive. Starts with classroom or theoretical education, but delivered by people with actual industry experience.
Right.
Then comes hands-on manufacturing tests.
Okay. Practical skills.
Very practical. And the students who pass those tests, they transition immediately into what sounds like real-world production.
As trainees.
Sort of. They move to a one-week applied production phase where they basically work as skilled production staff. İşin, the Turkish source, uses that word meaning worker. And crucially, they have to document the procedures, the processes, maybe making videos, writing manuals.
So they're learning by doing and also by teaching or documenting.
Seems like it. And the ultimate goal isn't just to get them a job. It's about enabling these students to potentially start their own businesses in these sectors, or at least gain superior certified skills that are directly relevant.
And the curriculum, is it broad or very specific?
Very specific, very targeted to that synergy engine we talked about.
Like what?
Well, the examples given cover 11 specific cleaning product formulations: bleach, surface cleaner, dish soap, that kind of thing. And alongside that, they learn 7 key plastic skills.
Such as?
Things like identifying different types of plastics, crucial recycling techniques, and then the hands-on stuff: injection molding, blow molding, specifically for making things like caps and the larger bottles or bidons.
So it directly tackles that known issue in technical and vocational education, the TVET sector, right? Where sometimes the training is too theoretical or the equipment isn't quite right for what industry actually needs.
Exactly. This looks like a direct attempt to rapidly create the specific human capital. The entrepreneurs, the skilled workers, the trainers, even the managers needed to bridge that gap. And importantly, to make use of Malawi's very young population, turn that demographic potential into an industrial asset.
Okay, so we have the synergy engine, we have a plan for human capital. Now, let's zoom out again. Connect this local plan to the bigger picture, the regional market. Producing for Malawi's 21 million people is one thing, but Africa is huge and those trade barriers are coming down.
Yes. This is the potential multiplier effect.
Yeah.
If Malawi can actually achieve efficiency and quality in these core sectors, they're not just playing defense substituting imports, they're potentially positioning themselves for a significant export generation across the continent.
And the data you mentioned earlier, the regional demand for just these products, cleaning supplies and plastics, it's big.
It's enormous. The figures are quite stunning, actually. Just look at 2023 data. Across the entire ADA-CFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area, total imports of plastics and cleaning products hit, get this, $30.14 billion.
$30 billion
for
soap and plastic bottles, essentially.
And related inputs, yes. It's a colossal market opportunity just waiting there. And even if you narrow it down to the Kamesu region, the common market for Eastern and Southern Africa, which Malawi is part of, even there, the total imports were over $13 billion in 2023.
So what you're saying is getting local production right isn't just about saving Malawi money on imports.
No, it's potentially a gateway, a way to capture even a small slice of this massive continental market that's opening up thanks to lower tariffs and free trade areas. It changes the whole scale of ambition.
This whole approach, strategic planning, starting with basics, aiming for synergy, targeting regional markets, it feels like it should have historical parallels somewhere, does it?
It does. And the source material draws a really strong explicit analogy to Turkey's first 5-year industrial plan that was launched between 1934 and 1938.
Okay.